You're listening to the Blunders and Flagons podcast.
Welcome to Blunders and Flagons, a podcast where hobbits meet holes in the world of Middle-earth. I'm Drew. I'm super excited to have you join us on this epic journey filled with laughter, questionable decisions, and a fair share of hobbit-sized antics. Joining me in the virtual studio today are me broders, or in English, brothers, and we're definitely excited to be coming towards the decrescendo of our adventure here with Ballin. But to introduce myself and my character, if you don't know already, I play Banjo Groman, the little tyke hobbit with a slingshot and a big dream. A little slingshot, big dream. And definitely spooked after the events prior. I really don't know exactly where we left off, but all I know is there was a scuffle, there was this fight, and I'm excited to see what comes next. So with that, I will pass it on over to Jerry.
Hey! Finally, I gotta be second. There's a cat walking behind Daniel. I saw the tail just doot, doot, doot. That was very entertaining.
Oh no!
Anyways, yes, hello. I am Jerry, and I play everyone's character, who is definitely the most hobbit. He is very much the hobbit of Hobbit. He is, yep. He's actually not. He's actually a dwarf, and he has been working on his Scottish accent, because that is what dwarves use. And for everyone who is screaming at him for using an Irish accent this entire time, blame the person playing him, because I completely spaced when I originally dreamt up who Barty Took was going to be. Anyways, yes, I'm playing Barty Took, and it has been an absolute honor to join the trio of Lennox brains that I have been a part of. And I cannot wait to continue this adventure as we get to know more about Barry.
Barry indeed. How very kind of you. My name is Daniel, and it has been so fun to be on and continue being in the podcast. I play the role of Barry Bramblefoot, and an interesting little tidbit about Barry, who is perhaps the quintessential hobbit. He's very passive, and he loves nature, and he has, most hobbits have a hobby that they tend to fixate on, and he's definitely got that. But in growing up, in his formative years as a 30-year-old and 40-year-old, those young formative years for a hobbit, there was an old hobbit lady who lived nearby, and her name was Bromilda, and she was kind of like the neighbor botanist, herbalist, what have you. And he would often find himself drawn to her very well-tended garden, where she spent much of her time as an elder hobbit in the soil. And that's kind of one of the ways he kind of got his start in identifying and his love for herbs, as he was helping out this hobbit lady who was starting to have difficulty with tending to her garden, all the bending over and picking weeds and cleaning out the beds of flowers was becoming rather difficult. So that's sort of where he got his start, is helping a neighbor. But he has continued in his love for plants and all things green and growing, and by extension, a bit of a dislike for things that are not green and growing, such as caves. and he is finding himself quite justified in his dislike for caves and dead and dark places such as that, in seeing his friend Barty nearly be skewered by an
Barty
orc.
almost beefed it.
And he is not sure exactly how the 4 individuals who entered the cave managed to survive. But he's unlikely to enter a cave ever again in his life. And with that, I will pass it back to the lore master.
Greetings. I'm the lore master, spoken of previously. My name is David, and this is our game, Blunders and Flagons. You've met Jerry, Drew, and Daniel, and I am David, and I play everybody that they don't play, which so far has been everyone from multiple tavern keepers. That's mostly who occupies the Shire, apparently, because that's pretty much who they've talked to. Sheriffs and tavern keepers, and I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much the only occupants of the Shire. Other than a wandering dwarf, my fun fact for the week, and I will bring it back to fiction because I feel like I've had a lot of real life facts and I need to bring it back to the realm. Balin, the dwarf, has not always had a raven companion. He actually...
Raven, didn't you?
What's that?
You all forgot he had a raven, didn't you?
Perhaps.
Yes, the audience probably did.
Perhaps. But he met this raven in the first adventure where the dwarves went to the Lonely Mountain, and he started training it, and now it mostly perches on his shoulder. He can have it do various small tasks. Really cool. But in times of trouble, it tends to fly away and find some safe spot in a tree, some roost somewhere. So that's my fun fact, and this is Blunders and Flagons. We're so glad you are joining us on this adventure. Let's jump right in, just as Daniel was leading us so precisely to back into the depths of a cave which has been used as a quarry by the hobbit folk of Skerry, a town in the East Farthing of the Shire. And they went seeking out some lustrous jewels or gems or such for Balin and with Balin, and they found some such things indeed, but they also found a creature who was identified as an orc guarding this stash, so to speak, and he was dispatched not without some pain, particularly on the part of Barty, who thrust himself headlong to try to impress Balin, and found himself on the sharp end of a very pointy stick.
Yeah.
But thankfully, the error in character creation was corrected, and he somehow revivified, in spite of the fact that there's no very low magic here.
Wait, I'm not a weakling. just realizes he's not as weak as he thought he was. Literally rips his shoulder off of a cave wall.
Looks at his character sheet. That's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
I know some of these words.
Oh my gosh, it's a.
So that brings us up to date. We are back in the cave, and we are. What would you like to do, as a matter of fact? Balin is kind of standing there. He picks up his axe and is kind of cleaning it off, even though he never actually hit the orc.
Yeah,
just out of practice.
Despite
If I
being
remember
cleans
how-
it off.
I think
Several
the
times.
one time he hit him, it he literally accidentally.
He may have hit him once. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's
So
been
if I
remember correctly,
bounced off of a stalactite, just
We
smacked
found
him in the
a-
shoulder.
If I remember correctly, we found a pouch of gems and a magic-looking sword, some spooky, creepy, cool sword.
dagger.
Yes, that is correct.
So, Barty wants dibs on the gems, please.
Okay.
Can I see those?
Those are going to. I think that's the whole reason we got here is
He
Weren't
just
those-
wanted to. No, he just wanted to see if there was anything here, like metals, not gems.
So, Balin kind of looks at this assortment of stones, and he is, he kind of sits down cross-legged on the floor, and he pulls out this kind of kit. It has a little tiny pickaxe. So you see that he's got some other stuff in his pack. There's a big pickaxe sticking out of it, and that's what he had used at various times, checking in the walls. But there's like this little tiny pickaxe for very tiny work, and there's a little brush, and there's a kind of like a monocle-looking thing, but it's got layers, almost like a telescope. And so he pulls out these, this jeweler's glass. I knew the word for it. I just was explaining for those people who didn't.
Sure.
And so he breaks out this kit and he starts looking through these rocks and trying to tell if they're of any value, if they could be used for anything. And actually, as he lays this out, there's a few silver coins and even a couple gold coins in amongst this rubbish that's kind of throughout this bag that was buried in the refuse. And so he's going about that, trying to discern what's
Takes
with
his like,
value. Yeah. He does, as a matter of fact, he does pick up one of them and kind of bite it a little bit, and it does leave a bit of a mark. He goes, "Oh yes, these right here, that's true gold right there." And he takes his little pickaxe, ding ding ding, and he holds it up to his ear and he looks at it under the jeweler's glass. There's some interesting stones here. Now, they're not seeming to imply that they came from this cave. There's no stones that are from here mixed in with it. So this may have been a stash that came to be here over time, but
maybe they've just existed for infinity.
So,
I believe that phrase is copyrighted, so I don't think we can do that. No, I don't think they've been... Everything had an origin, but I don't think that any of these stones that I'm finding have come from this mine, so to speak. But there's a wee bit of treasure, nothing super incredible, I'm
So what I'm
afraid.
hearing you say, Mr. Balin, sir, with all due respect, you came here for metals from this cave, not for the precious gems that are already inside this cave, so I can take those off your hands so you don't have to worry about them, right?
As we've undertaken this venture together, whatever we find, I'm happy to split with you. And basically what I was seeking out to do, as I explained on the way in great detail, off camera.
yeah,
But-
I remember. Just say it again, just in case.
What I explained to you in great detail is that I was essentially seeking out a scouting mission to see if it was worth bringing a mining crew of dwarves here to find the precious metals or gemstones or whatever may be to be found here, and using that to supply a mission to Moria. So from what I've found so far, and there's still some more work to be done. I've checked part of the cave and I'd like to check another part going out. But this looks to be the deepest section, so we'll spend some time here, but I've not found what I was hoping to find necessarily.
Great. So you and me are splitting the gems.
Barty, there's a pool of blood right underneath you. Is that yours?
That's true, Barty. How many hit points are you at as
I'm
of?
at one.
You're at one
Yeah,
hit point.
I don't think you would be bartering for gold.
Do
It's
you?
not gold. Does anybody have
The
medicine?
adrenaline wears off finally. No, just
Party just goes. Oh, those gems look pretty, and then just sits, just plunks down. Ooh,
just sits.
Why are the
there,
gems
are they
flying?
dancing for you guys too?
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
So,
that's
does
so
anybody
funny.
have any sort of healing that they can lend him? Is that a capability that any of you have?
Ooh, Banjo learned how to just put raw nettles on it.
I can rub something. I just hold 2 handfuls of random like weeds and plants. Like, hold still.
And you have a chance
still.
of getting negative health from this.
I just rub them all together. Come on. It's
Picks
great.
out the back guano.
Spits.
So yeah, we hadn't gone into the details of that the rest mechanics because this is the first time you've taken damage. But
12 sessions later. 13
in
sessions.
order to complete a long rest, you need to be in a safe area and
Not be this area.
and take a full essentially a week's rest. Basically, we'll get you back up to full health. A
week?
An 8-hour rest, a normal sleep in the wild or off on an adventure, can count as a short rest for the purposes of D&D, and you can recover whatever you would recover in that manner. Yeah, you can spend hit dice to recover some hit points, which you have 1 hit dice right now, so you could spend that. But yes, that is the rules as it goes for resting in the Lord of the Rings TTRPG.
Perhaps while Bolin goes and looks, maybe I just take a nap. Because everything's moving in ways I don't believe are supposed to. I've never been underground before, but last I checked, the walls aren't supposed to be doing foxtrots.
It's been a long day and it's ended quite aggressively for you,
A lot to help
Barty.
you were.
So,
These
well,
tales of dwarves. Listen, it was a wonder to see you work as a dwarf, but I've heard dwarves being a lot more
Thank you so much, Bond,
Is the
for
word.
taking us here to get this treasure. And
We're out.
I
it's super
could
fun watching him
I could
die
make excuses
almost.
for myself. I will say I apologize. I was taken off guard. I was really thinking about the treasure and seeing that orc there. It really threw me off.
I could tell.
Me too.
So,
He threw me off into a wall. I was stuck there for a bloody minute.
As a matter of fact, typically I would love to set up some sort of a camp underground here in the cave, but I'd rather really go up topside if it's all the same with you lot. I don't relish the fact of these shadows moving during our watches.
All right,
And,
we're going to need to hold on to somebody's hand then.
But we'll take a moment here first, and we'll finish sorting through this rubbish, and perhaps we'll see if there's anything else we can find.
Okay, I'm going to sit here. I'll point out
That's a
anything that
great
looks
idea.
fascinating.
You just take a load off, Bertie. You don't feel like you have to do anything.
Ballin, what are the chances of more than one orc being in here?
It is very, very strange to find any orc in the Shire.
Yeah.
That there could be more than one and that it wasn't discovered much earlier would be very strange indeed. The way that this orc, it seems, has been living, not that I know much about orcs and their lifestyles, but the way that this refuse pile is here and it's been eating squirrels and rabbits and the like, I don't think that there is a clan of orcs or even multiple orcs here, and if there were, they're all dead by now except for this one. So my thoughts are this orc was likely part of a roaming war party a long time ago, and he got lost and sought refuge in the darkest thing he could find, and until now, it's worked out pretty well for him.
Pretty well.
Till we came along and showed him what's what.
I mean, for an orc, I don't know how well they typically live, but this is right on par with what I would think would be quite a nice living situation for one of those scurvy dogs. That's probably not the right terminology.
Scurvy dog. Big events. Lemons to keep off the scurvy.
There's a fine line between Irish and Scottish, and there's a very fine line between Scottish and pirate. So it's just the lines. Aye, you wee laddie, you've just got the scurvy dogs.
That was a gorgeous demonstration of the warping of Irish to Scottish.
Thank you. Yeah,
Let me just take a minute. Clip that, chat.
it's way blown out. So
And if you're
anyway. But I digress. So you're able to go through these, and Balin, it ends up that there's there are 8-9 gemstones and a few coins. So Balin takes 3 of the gems for himself and gives the rest to you lot, as well as the coins.
Is someone
For-
keeping track of that?
For you all to share amongst yourselves.
I'll hang on to those gemstones till we get up to the top side.
And
Just in
you,
case. No sense in
as far
separating
as gems go, so hobbits, you've not seen gemstones. I mean, this is something that would be completely unique to the situation, right? So that you barely deal with silver. Hobbit commerce is largely based on trade, whether that's for services or for goods. And so currency in and of itself,
taverns, of course.
well, and even in taverns, a lot of people would pay, they would say it's worth 2 silver, but a lot of people would pay with other goods and services. I mean, even like Barry had done, traded his herbs and such. It's a very common thing. And so, people would bring in, a chicken, and that would be for their meal, or, there would be a trade for a goat, and then they'd come in and eat. Holding these gems in your hand, Barty, as you're sitting there and everybody's getting these things arranged, it is a very different experience for you. And you kind of find yourself lost in the beauty and the origin of these gemstones. And this has come from a potentially nefarious source. And so I am going to have you roll against your 2 shadow points,
I have
which
5
does happen when you come in contact with or take in treasure from a hoard of any kind. That's part of the rules of the Lord of the Rings TTRPG. When you take treasure from a hoard of a evil creature, it can and often is tainted and can taint you with the evil that it has come through.
So roll against my shadow score.
So that would be, I had that. Give me 1 second.
We get to the top of the mine, and Balin's just like, oh yeah, by the way, he probably imposed his evil, wicked will on those stones. You might feel a little
in his hood, he's all like,
No, he didn't. There's no blooming way.
But he's like, no,
Precious.
what?
Bro starts putting on the orc's helmet. He's like, I'm the orc now.
I don't like this. Speaking of
Slap you with metal.
smells, let's see. I had a cool fact for today.
This
Oh.
thing smells.
It is so today is the 27th of February,
What?
and it is
Behind the scenes.
Anosmia Awareness Day. And for those who are not aware, anosmia is the loss of smell. And that's one of the senses I think we often take for granted. And sometimes, as young parents, wish we didn't have at all.
True.
But
3 out of 4 of us can relate.
anosmia is like losing your ability to smell. So today is Anosmia Awareness Day.
It's not
I
a
feel like they really
schnosmia,
missed.
is
They
it?
missed an opportunity calling it a snosmia.
A snosmia.
You know what? That fact really stinks.
I know. It is a stinky fact. But you know what?
Actually, technically, it's not. It's the least stinky fact because you can't smell it.
Yeah.
Not if you have it. It's
But
like
yeah,
that
apparently
one riddle.
apparently it can happen.
What's that one riddle, Drew? Banjo, what's the one riddle?
Oh, there's that one riddle. It's like, if you have me, then you lose me, and then, and it's silence or something.
No.
You say me,
No.
and then you lose me.
What?
You
No,
don't
you
have
said it
me
all
anymore.
wrong. You ruined it.
It's
No.
It's like, you don't
Hey,
got me,
listen.
and then you got me. You know what I'm saying?
No. That was
So-
awful. Let's play again. It goes, what thing is so fragile even speaking its name destroys it?
I don't
Wow.
think that's how I heard it.
Silence.
I snows me.
So Barty or Jerry, on behalf
Sorry.
of Barty. So
Yes, thanks.
when treasure is found, usually the lore master is supposed to do something. I didn't do that, so we're gonna have you do it live here, okay?
Okay.
So
Yay.
roll a d20.
Okay. With any modifiers?
No.
Uh-oh.
That's a 1.
Oof. Okay.
That's really bad.
Pretty sure you did roll 1d20.
Roll.
You're dead.
I'll say
And
roll 2d6s.
Are these hit dice? Because I only have 1 hit point.
No.
yeah, the
1
stone
and 6
hits
totaling
you.
7.
Okay. So there is no magical treasure here.
Nice.
Goodness. Go ahead and roll a d6.
Wow, lots of rollings.
That is a 3.
Okay. So one of the rocks in particular, one of these gems, it is a pinkish purple amethyst.
Ooh.
And it appears that it may indeed be dwarven, as Balin conveys to you. And basically, after looking over these pieces of gold, you find that it's probably worth about 7 gold pieces altogether.
Dang.
The gold and the coins and the gems that you have to split amongst yourselves.
That's pretty rough, actually.
It's nothing crazy, but again, remember, this is a low magic, low treasure situation.
We'll just start with the youngest, and then we'll give each person 1 coin, and then we'll just keep going until we run out of coins.
No, these are mine.
Wrong.
No,
To
because
carry up
one
to
for
the
me,
top.
1 for Barry, 1 for Barty. 1 for me, 1 for Barry, 1 for Barty, and then, we just, we got 1 left over, might as well just give it to me.
So what did you do? What did you do in that fight back there? Oh, that's right, nothing. That's right, nothing. I feel like
Keep in mind-
Getting hit.
Keep in mind, there's also a dagger or
Nah.
a short blade to
I've
Was a
got-
dagger.
split up as well.
I've got me axe. I couldn't ask for anything else.
Do you want that, Barry?
Has anyone
great for
has
cutting
anyone
weeds.
touched the knife/dagger yet?
No. Ballin did.
Gonna
He
touch
picked
it,
it up.
and just immediately turn into like the most abhorrent creature.
Just gets sucked
possible.
into. Oh, I forgot to roll against my shadow score. Was that what I was just doing, David?
What?
I forgot to roll against my shadow score. Is that what I was supposed to
No,
do?
you're going to need to do that as well. I was just trying to decide. I'm gonna design this weapon offline, and I will get that back to you. If you end up using it, I'll make a judgment at that point. Probably that it's just a +1 blade, but there may be some other thing attached to it.
Secret things.
If the opponent doesn't get to Rivendell, they turn into a wraith.
You have the gold. Jerry, it's going to be a wisdom saving throw against 2 points of shadow.
How do I do? Oh, so I can. So I either get 2 points of shadow or I don't.
I believe so.
I don't like how Barty is being very selfish with these gemstones, so there might be some.
I don't like how you're being
I mean,
selfish.
it's
I'm-
fine.
I'm just
If
saying
he
out of
wants all the
character.
curses and all
This
that.
is making me uncomfortable. I feel like he's being tainted by the riches already.
It's
He's turning
it's
into
not
a
tainted,
dragon.
It's just, he's never seen these before, and he wants to add them to his bracelet.
Yeah, but they're not all
Oh,
for
dude,
him.
did you ever ask
Yes, they are.
what's his face what that bracelet says?
He did everything. Oh yeah. Well, we don't know if it. Yeah, I guess I could.
I thought it has dwarven runes on it.
So I'm going to say that's a failure on your part.
Okay.
Ruh-roh.
So your Your total wisdom is what?
My total wisdom is 13.
Okay, and you now have
7 shadow points.
7 shadow. So you now have passed the halfway mark.
Uh-oh.
It makes
So-
sense. You're literally dying, dude.
Yeah, you've
death's
gone
door.
through some rough stuff. As a matter of fact, Barry and Banjo, just by witnessing what happened to Barty, you're going to be getting a shadow point as well.
Suck it.
And the death of the orc. I mean, it's all a cumulative, difficult situation
Does
that
that mean I
you've
need to take
been
another point of
party to.
shadow?
What's that?
Does that mean I need to take another? Sorry.
Barty, you didn't witness yourself getting stabbed. It's okay. You've
I'll
got.
take that. I will take
You're
that.
good. Banjo.
Yeah, so I quickly want to clarify how we know when we're over the edge. With
What's
our
your
shadow
wisdom
points.
score?
It's half your
Oh,
wisdom score.
yeah, half your
Wrote it
wisdom
down.
Yeah. Stupid is what my wisdom score is.
Got it. Okay.
But thankfully, not as bad as my intelligence score.
So, what you can do,
I'm not
Barty,
just dumb, I'm
if you
stupid
want
too.
to already, because what's happening to you now is that you are, I believe it is called
Miserable.
miserable. Yes. So that means you are at anytime you are making an ability check. If you roll a 1 or a 2, it is a failure.
Great.
That's ability checks, attack rolls, and saving throws. Okay?
So everything that I could possibly roll.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, before your score reaches equal with wisdom, you can go through a bout of madness. Well, you have to go through a bout of madness if you get there. But you can take a shadow scar if you harden your will, which you can do at any point. And basically that erases
Those are just
all of
permanent,
your... It is, but it erases all of your points and gives you one permanent one.
Sure.
So
I feel
you
like-
can
I feel
choose...
like a shadow scar. Yeah, I'm going to choose to do that. Because one
Okay.
shadow scar to go with the one permanent shoulder embedded axe spear thing scar on my shoulder. You want me just to do that now?
Yeah, you can definitely
Am I
do
still
that.
miserable?
You would not be miserable anymore.
Thank goodness.
That wound will never fully heal. He will carry it with him.
Today's episode is called Shadow Scars.
It's called Emo Hobbits.
I do like that as a title, Daniel.
Thank you, thank you.
So you can play that out however you want to. Basically around the fire tonight, that'll be something that you can do and kind of explain how he works through that to harden himself against the greed that's kind of pushing in on him and starting to overwhelm his heart. So Balin kind of finishes up. You collect this paltry treasure. It's a little something. It's nothing crazy, but Balin has a little bit to take with him, and you are able to explain what's going on here if you need to. So Balin kind of leads you back up out of the cave as you digress, and along the way he looks along the wall. He's tapping it at a couple different places with that big pickaxe, double checking as you go, just to make sure that you haven't missed anything. If you want to, one of you can make a perception check just to double check and see that you haven't missed anything along the way.
I'll do that.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm hurting.
Yeah, you done.
I'm probably
Yeah,
helping.
Barty is definitely hobbling.
I'm probably
in much
helping.
pain.
I'm probably helping Barty.
Ah, gosh, are you kidding me?
Rule.
You rule.
That first one would have been better too. Dude, it's just
You
like
know it.
it's I've never rolled a dice so many times and gotten so many low numbers with actual
trash.
dice.
You trash.
That's why I
Virtual dice.
don't like scripts. This is a program. Sorry.
No,
Anyways,
I understand
and
that.
when I roll a
understand
d20, I'm gonna have the exact same reaction. Just you wait.
Listen, my preference is real dice as well. It just makes it easier.
This is true. This is very true.
I guess.
Easier to try
I don't
to
know.
promise.
I don't know that it actually makes it easier, but it seems like it makes it easier.
Just trust me. I rolled a 20 4 times in a row.
Yes, exactly. So,
Don't question it.
Banjo, how do you go about trying to help Balin look for treasure on the way out?
Well, supposedly I would be having a torch in my hand and very closely, probably about this close from the wall, I would be looking about, half an inch away from the wall, looking real close, and probably alerting him to the smallest glitter and shine. So that's probably the way I would be doing it, just looking as close as possible. I have no idea what I'm looking
His
for.
face is like this on the wall.
Yeah, and I do not know what I'm looking for. I'm literally just looking at anything shiny.
Yeah. Yeah, so it slows you down a little bit because you are pointing at things that you think shine, but it's actually just the reflection of the torch on, some damp part of the cave. So it takes you a little bit extra time getting out, but you are able to eventually exit the quarry here at Scary, and you begin. Balin thinks it might be best to travel down a little bit south towards the main road and camp for the night. It is already fallen dark. You were down in the cave for some time. Probably part of the night has passed. And you make your way down the road a little bit, and before Balin takes you off into the fields there south of Scary, and you find a somewhat comfortable looking little alcove where there's an opening in the trees. There's a bit of a forest here, and it's kind of as a well that conceals the fires of the camp, just to keep people from being suspicious as you're camping kind of close to the road. And he once again gets the fire going, and you all are able to set up camp, set out your bedrolls, and get ready for the night to pass. So does anybody want to do anything before you take up watches for the night and continue on?
We definitely got to dress that wound. I mean, this guy's been... I don't even think... Have you even put a cloth on that, Barty? I think you're still dripping blood, dude.
You're muted, I think, Jerry.
Hello.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm
What?
sorry. I was planning on what he's gonna do around the campfire to process his thing. Yeah. No, I've got a shirt on. This covers it. This is cloth. I'm good.
But there's a hole in it.
No.
Technically, there's 2 holes in it.
There's a lot more than that, but yeah, you're right.
Well, listen. If you guys want to treat it, that's fine. Lucky we've got an herbalist who knows what he's doing. But I feel fine.
I'm fine, clunk.
Oh, you
Passes
do?
out.
You feel fine? You feel fine, Barty? What about if you think about soup? Are you gonna
Listen,
feel fine
here, listen.
then?
Listen. I've got enough hot air coming out of my mouth, right? Why not have a little bit out of my shoulder? Hey.
So as you say that, Balin kind of looks you up and down, and he reaches into his pack. He pulls out. It looks like dried meat, probably some form of hardtack or jerky, and he distributes it to the lot of you. Eat up, eat hearty. This is good stuff. It'll stick to your ribs. This is some good dwarven jerky, so hopefully you'll enjoy.
Sticky ribs.
Thank you. I will enjoy this.
A wild goat I killed a couple days back. Still good, still very good, he says, just ripping into it. You see, the piece that he has had a little bit of fur on it still, and so he just kind of spits it out. But the pieces you all have, they look pretty fine, pretty okay. It's definitely not comfort hobbit food. This is some trail food, so
Gorp.
yeah, not the best.
Uh-huh.
But you're able to make a decent meal out of it, and the fire is definitely warming after the events of the evening. Barry.
Master Balin, I don't suppose you have in your pack some kind of a metal kettle or pot or something. I'm not sure.
Excuse me, metal kettle.
I do have a little tin cup that I take with me on my expeditions. Just as a habit, I like to bring something I can put over a fire. But I don't suppose you have something bigger like a pot or a kettle on you.
Maybe we could try one of that coffee.
Now, I don't have a kettle, so to speak, but I do have a pot. And certainly, I think I heard some... my water skin's depleted. I think we went through the marsh and we drank a good bit. I don't know if you have any extra. If you have water skins, or we could... I don't know if there's a river close by. I know the Brandywine is down south.
I'm going to start climbing up the nearest tree to see if I can look around. It's still not, like, completely dark, right?
It's dark.
I can see black.
Wait, tell his raven to go get some water.
Quick, go get some water, Raven. I just dropped all my books.
Bring back an olive branch if you find water.
Blink twice for yes.
There is actually, and you, as you,
Or we could recall going past one recently.
So you know that the Brandywine, the water kind of goes along, not necessarily right next to, but close to the main road, which is the area you were heading to. You're still close to a day away from that.
Oh, okay.
But you do, as you get to a certain point in the road, and kind of as you're quiet and after the campfire has died down just a little bit, you are able to hear some trickling water somewhat to the east. And you know that there is the Brandywine, what's known as the Brandywine River, does come up this far north. And there's a branch that kind of sweeps in south of Scary. And so there is water. It's still probably an hour or so hike away. But you can hear it at this point, and it's faint, but you could probably make it there and back if you don't have any water in your skin still.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The main... So I think we have water enough to get back to the water tomorrow. The thing that Barry would like to do is basically get water in some kind of a heatable device, heatable container, as in a pot, or even if it's just his tin cup, put it over the fire, boil it, put in a rag to disinfect the rag, and possibly add some nettles or comfrey or wolfsbane or whatever might help with the inflammation and the pain, and as a antiseptic disinfectant, basically just to kind of cobble together what little he knows of field medicine, because obviously he's never had a serious war injury, but people have cuts with knives and farming implements and things like that happen, and so that information is relayed and passed down through oral tradition and so on and so forth. But that's basically what Barry would like to do.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make a medicine check. We'll say there's enough water you can scrape together to at least, make a paste or bring it to a boil and sanitize a rag in it. But yeah, go ahead and roll a medicine check.
Not the best, but...
Okay.
I got a 10.
We'll say that you'll add 2 points to if Barty spends a hit die to heal, he can gain an extra 2 points on top of that.
Nice.
And that'll be a bonus basically. You're able to cobble together what seems like some sort of a tea. and it's a warming and a healing sort of thing, and perhaps you could pour a little bit over the wound if it was cool a little bit, and that might help it to be disinfected or kept from getting worsening, let's say.
Stabilize.
So, Barty, so this takes place, you can, if you'd like to, for the night, you can go ahead and make a roll of your hit dice to recover some of your hit points.
Can do that.
I think it's a D8 that you would roll.
Yeah, I got 1d8. What does it mean I spend? Do I just not get that hit dice back, or?
Yeah, so you use that now. In order to get it back, you need to complete a long rest.
Roll 1d8. I got a 5.
Okay, so total of 7 altogether.
Oh, does that bring you back to full?
Yeah, I got 8 now.
Yep,
Nice.
perfect. So,
Dang.
and that'll take place as you rest and kind of recover. But the tea gets you in a better state of mind and helps you to kind of take a breath. You realized you were kind of in shock up until this point, and things were happening, but you weren't really processing, other than the gems, which really they've been in your hand this whole time, and you've been looking at them, even as you've gone about your business. But
Yeah, as he sips his tea, he's noticeably in like this quiet state. He's not as boisterous as he normally is. He's very focused internally, trying to push down like all of the nightmares that he just watched occur and happen to himself. He's not even sure that he's ready to acknowledge what exactly happened fully. His mind keeps like flinching away from certain memories, like when the spear hits him in the shoulder, stuff like that, and he's replacing them with like pictures of the gems that are in his hands. He's like trying to replace, like pulling a book out of a shelf and put that one in its place. He finds them to be absolutely perfect. They fit in his palm amazing. They feel awesome in his hand. They're smooth. They're cold. It feels like they're grounding him, right? He's trying to act normal. He's cracking jokes that maybe might not land quite as well. He's avoiding contact. He's avoiding eye contact with his friends. Kind of fidgeting more. Obviously, he's got the gems in his hand, so he's just kind of messing with them a lot. As he's sitting there, he's just staring into the coals, just staring at the red embers at the base of the fire. Just the horror is kind of just drawing his mind into the red there, and he's trying to avoid any reflective material like the pots or the axe head, anything like that. Just concerned that if he looks and sees something else that's not him in his reflection, he's fidgeting a little bit more, tapping his foot. But then once they all turn in, he's got his gems clutched tight, kind of lets them cut into his hand, not cut, but like press into his hands a little bit, kind of letting that pressure and maybe slight pain fight against the tears that he's witnessed, kind of just at the edge of his mind, and he's kind of using that to offset everything.
yeah, this is probably the first moment in Barty's life where he has been, through something and has had to decide to harden his resolve against it. Mm-hmm. And so it's a somber night around the campfire, and you're all able to set up your bedrolls and arrange your watches. I won't have you roll for your watch, but in turn, as you do sleep, you sleep somewhat restlessly. You are able to still get a night's rest, but all three of you have dark dreams throughout the night. This is probably the most traumatic experience that you, as a hobbit, have been through. And having witnessed the near death of a fellow hobbit, having witnessed the death of a creature that you weren't even sure existed in a place where you never thought you would be, these things have all kind of weighed in on your consciousness. And for Barry, that effect through his dreams is a restless whispering, and you see flashes of woods and darkness and green dim light. that is flashing on and off, almost in a sort of secret code, a message that is being conveyed, or a forge that is being forged in some dark, hidden way that you didn't think was possible, being a homely hobbit. And for Banjo, you keep reliving the events that occurred in the cave. You keep seeing Barty be impaled with this spear, and it happens again and again, and you keep seeing his face, but his face becomes the face of your father. It becomes the face of your brothers, one by one, and you see the orc as it dies, even a malicious grin on its face that seems to tell you it's not over. And you see yourself repeatedly smashing its head with a rock over and over and over, trying to wipe this grin off of its face, but it's unable to do so.
Why was Banjo so traumatizing?
Wakes up the next morning. I'm
Caramba.
gonna go get some water, you guys. Yeah, that is so whack. Holy guac, dude.
Is that where we get our
maybe there's
shadow
a trigger.
points from?
Maybe there's a trigger. Yeah, that's your shadow
That's
points.
intense.
That's how you get your
Holy
shadow points.
Nightmare
Um,
fuel.
Literal nightmares. I mean, not literal because
Yeah.
it's made up, but
Well, it's actually a
literal,
nightmare for them,
figurative
though.
nightmares right there.
you're, like I said, the night passes restlessly, but you are able to wake up somewhat later on. And Balin, who has, been through these things and worse before, he is already up, and he has gone hunting. He found some sort of pheasant or quail and is making a breakfast. He even found a nest, so there's some eggs along with a roasted bird over the fire that he's been turning, and it looks like a pretty amazing breakfast for being in the field. It seems like he realized you all needed a little bit extra than just the hardtack after the previous evening.
My man's turning into a hobbit.
Beef jerky does only get you so far. Or goat jerky, I should say.
Well, help yourself there. There's a bit of a field bird that I found. I believe it was a pheasant. It was a bit of a chore to pluck, but
Field bird, more like a fell bird. You got it good.
there's some good meat on it there. And,
I saw
there's...
the devil.
I'm sorry to hear that, Banjo. That the events that took place in that cave were not at all what I was hoping, and I am sorry for involving you lot in this situation. But I thank you immensely for your help.
Right, we saved you. You'd have been dead blooming meat.
The way I was swinging my axe that night, I do believe you're correct. And that was the least of my worries going in there. So I'm glad that you were prepared, even though I clearly was not. I don't know if it means anything to you. Bilbo said that he hadn't met you, but that you, Barty, were looking to speak with the dwarf, and so he sent me somewhat to... And I'm a bit ashamed at this point to even say so, but not to spy on you, but as a bit of a emissary to see if you were the kind of people that he would like to associate with.
All right,
And
hobbits
so-
aren't enough for this man. Question. I actually do have a question, because Banjo's been harping on this since the bloomin' start. Does Bilbo turn people into frogs?
He does. Well, no, not him, per
That's
se.
a proven
but
fact, actually.
The treasure that he has is cursed, and therefore, whenever you touch it, you turn into a frog. That's just a simple fact my mom told me.
Balin looks at Banjo, and he starts to shake. and soon he is just belly laughing, the loudest that you've ever heard. And you've never heard a dwarf laugh. This is the first time you've interacted with a dwarf.
Right.
But it's almost like the ground shakes with the heartiness and the fullness of his laughter and mirth. And you even see a tear fall down his cheek and mix into his beard. Oh, that is the best thing I've ever heard. No, there's nothing magical about Bilbo or anything that he's brought back from the mountain, I can assure you that. There is nothing nefarious about any of the treasure, especially rings, that he brought back. There is nothing terrible or scary about it at all.
It's interesting you mentioned rings, because I have
That's
this
such a
bracelet,
relief.
actually. I've got this bracelet. I think these are dwarvish writings, but I don't know. Maybe you could take a look in a few minutes, or is whenever you're able to let me know if it means anything to you.
Interesting. Let me take a look there. And he said, may I?
Please.
So
Pulls it off his wrist and hands it to him.
he takes it and he looks at it, and he... Where did you get this, Barty?
Hold on, let me pick up my backstory. I think I found it in a glade while I was pretending to fight things.
Roll a d20 for me.
Oh.
You just get to roll all the things, apparently.
Wow. Jerry just
Barty
gets-
has a very, or Jerry has a very interesting character.
A 14.
My character just
14?
somehow has the most
Okay.
scary dreams.
I feel
I
so
saw
bad
the-
for Banjo, but
I
he
saw
hasn't told
the
us about his
devil.
dreams. Let's see here.
I saw the devil. You wouldn't stop
I saw the
smiling.
devil.
That would be literally the scariest. Because, like, if you had asked me what my dream would have been, I would have been like, oh, I think back
Okay.
to when the torch got snuffed out. But that is nowhere near as freaking... Sorry.
So, Mr. Ballin, I was just exploring, like, the outsides of the Shire. I was just looking for something to hit with my axe, and honestly, I just tripped against a mossy stone, and underneath it, there was just this chest that had some pretty cool stuff on it. But I opened it, and there it was. It seemed to glow, but I think it was just the dying sun. The sun. What's it called when the sun goes down, guys?
Sunset?
When it
The
sets,
sunset. The sunset, right.
Sundown.
It's just the
when it
sunset,
goes down
and
and sets.
once I picked it up, I felt like I could face the whole bloomin' world with nothing but me wooden clogs and me axe.
Does a little heel click?
That's a
feel like-
very, very interesting thing that you found there. This does appear to be of dwarven make, and it is part of a what we would call a close-fitting armor. And
Close-fitting armor.
it's, if used defensively and with the correct knowledge, it can actually help you in a fight. That's a very nice trinket that you've got there. I would keep close watch on it.
Eyes Ballin suspiciously. Okay.
Don't be hasty.
So functionally, what this this piece of armor will do for you is it will convert, if you receive a critical hit, it will convert it down to a normal hit the first time that it happens
Oh,
in a fight. So
whoa.
yeah,
That's really
Track
sick.
that.
Oh, really sick.
close fitting bracer.
Pawn says, and it says that
really
right
cool.
there.
I'm so glad that I found that in my backstory, but I definitely let David know about beforehand.
Well, I'm certainly glad you cleared the air about that frog thing, Ballin, because ever since we were at Bilbo's house, I've had this urge to hop around, and I just wanted to. I'm glad that that's not any sort of magic
Jump around.
desire.
Jump around.
Jump up and jump, get down.
Okay, that's too much.
No,
It's
don't
too
get
close. It's too close.
down. Shire jump.
So, well, I'm glad that I could at least talk you through that, Barty, and I'm sorry again for the trouble I've caused you, and certainly, Banjo, you don't look so well. You look as though you've seen a ghost.
I saw my dad and my brothers.
I'm so sorry.
I genuinely don't think that Banjo would say much about it.
Yeah.
If
that's
anything,
about right.
his way to deal with it would be to brush it off as it's just a dream. And even though it is traumatizing and it probably would still affect him, he would not say thusly.
Well, what I'd like to do is to give you this letter, and he gives you a piece of parchment that's been folded over and stamped with a seal, and he gives it to you. This is a letter of introduction to Master Bilbo, or any other folks that I've come in contact with that you may approach. And it is a glowing recommendation as far as taking you under their patronage or helping you in any way to move forward. Hopefully it will give you a leg up if you are in need of assistance, or serve as a great introduction if you are needing to approach someone to take on a job or such. If they know me, of course. Well, it would do fairly well for anyone else, but I've told them that you're capable in a fight, that you're supportive and helpful, and in general the good sort. So I know that I cannot make up for the horrifying experiences that you as hobbits, and I've known a couple of hobbits in my life, and typically, well, I'll just say Bilbo didn't handle it as well even as you lot did when the things started to go downhill. Oh, those trolls, they were massive, but...
Trolls? Trolls are real?
Oh,
I think
aye.
he's using a figure of speech.
Oh, no.
Right.
There's
Trolls is
very...
like another word for like a hardship or difficulty, you know. When
there's
something's
a great
massive and
number of-
seems larger than life.
Thanks, Jerry.
Even if it's
Actually,
larger than
there's-
life, just
no.
call it a troll.
There are actual
so, like,
trolls.
your ego is a troll.
I took
Right.
a dump and it was a troll for me yesterday.
Larger than life.
Well, when you give Bilbo that letter, just ask him about Tom and Bill and the other guy whose name I never remember. Anyway,
Jared?
I don't think that was it.
Tom, Bill, and...
Anyway,
Yeah,
they were
what
just
is-
trolls. I didn't remember their names.
Right.
Troll number 3.
Ask him about the trolls. Got it.
Troll number 3. The smart
But it is at this point that I must leave you. Having not found what I need here, I need to look elsewhere.
Oh.
Wait, you can't fund your Moria mission with 3 gemstones?
No,
And
unfortunately
3 gold
not.
tokens.
I thought
But-
those were worth hundreds of millions of coins.
It does reinforce the fact that, in general, it's best to keep the Shire out of any business that's going on elsewhere. So
Or maybe
that
keep
is
elsewhere
probably
business
for the
out of
best.
Shire.
That's right. So I hope that you will do well in your endeavours. Wish Master Bilbo my best when you see him. And do smash one of his plates for me when you have tea. Just tell him it's a gift from Balin. He'll understand.
He'll understand. I'm on it. Barty stands up and offers his hand.
And
In marriage,
Balin
I do.
shakes it, and he says, "Now, I don't know exactly what your plan is for the day, but if you go down south, you can follow the road. Of course, it's just west. We walked right past it. You can see out of this glade. You can walk down the road and get to the main road, which leads you back to Hobbiton. You had mentioned perhaps going down towards
The Green Dragon.
right. Yeah, aye. And you were looking for some sort of farmer, I thought. You mentioned maybe.
Oh,
That's up
Farmer
to you.
Worst.
Mr.
Face.
Maggot.
Maggot.
Mr. Maggot.
And you'd have to ask around the Marish for him, from what I understand. But aye, that's about as much help as I can be, I think, at this point.
Paulin. You've
Aye.
been a life changer.
Love,
Thank you.
Lots of help.
Thank you. Seriously.
I'm sorry that I've
You
changed
were
your life. I
so
feel like it's been
awesome.
for the worst.
In the best way possible, and also the worst way. You know what?
He
My
says
life's
as
the
he's
same.
like
Thank you.
stroking all of these gems in his hand. You've changed the way I think about everything. You just really turned my life
It really
around.
has been. It really has been an honor
I was
working
going
with
down
you,
a great
Mr. Bowen.
path. You just
And
turned
please,
my life around.
if you ever end up near the Trucklands, look me up. Send your raven to find me.
That I shall. That I shall. And
Work
he,
the other time, though.
you all staying around the fire for a while, or shall I douse it and
Oh, we'll take care of it, Bon. You've done
enjoy the pheasant? Enjoy it.
thing.
And he packs up and he begins whistling a tune and hikes up towards the north, heading out of the Shire through the East Farthing.
Man, Ballin was a good one.
I don't know about that.
I still see him. He's over
We
there.
just almost died. I want my hobbit bed.
To lay your hobbit head.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
What what of the treasure did Balin take with him?
Took 3 coins.
So he left with you 7 gold coins worth of treasure. It's assorted gems and coins, and some of them, the probably half of it is in gems, which may or may not be tradable in the Shire, just due to their value.
Wondering is how much of it is actual currency versus.
Well, I have all the gems, so
Looks
Okay.
at $1 million worth of diamond. This
So
is
is it like-
worthless.
like 3 gold and some silver coinage.
So we'll say he has 3 coins worth of gems, and you guys can have 2 coins of
Okay.
coins.
2 coins of coins.
So there's 4 coins and the gems are worth 3 coins.
Gold, right?
And that dagger is still unbeknownst. It's just part of the loot.
Yeah,
right?
somebody has it. I don't know who has it.
It has not. It's not counted. It's separate. Yeah. So you also have a
Yeah, I don't know who picked it up. Did
a
Banjo
knife.
pick it up? I think Banjo picked it up.
I'll hold on.
I
to it 'cause
believe
no one really claimed
Banjo
it,
said
so
he
I
would pick it up.
I would totally.
I don't think
grab
anybody
it.
else wanted it.
And
No.
plus,
I don't think Barry cares, and Banjo's
plus I
too
need
enthralled.
that
So.
offhand because I only
Yeah.
have the whatchamacallit. This
yeah.
Cool.
Speaking of which, Banjo, would you roll a d20 for me?
Uh-oh.
Yes, of course
You
I
touch the knife. You're gonna die.
cursed knife of curseness.
Nobody said it was
You've
cursed.
got the curse of binding. You can never let it go. You now have a knife stuck to your hand permanently.
I rolled an 11.
Okay. So what is your plan for travel? Where are you headed to next?
I feel like the Green Dragon's
The
the,
Green
place to
Dragon,
go.
because we got to get
need-
this money to.
we
We
need
need to
to
get
off
her
and
gold
crop.
before we spend it all.
We also need to rest for a week.
Yeah.
Very true.
Takes
They're
one
not going to
step.
let us stay there.
Takes one step into a cave. Needs to rest for a week to recover. That's so relatable.
You had talked to Jarrett about the possibility of getting a supply of the mushrooms going with maggot, and that is up to you if you want to pursue that or not. But that is out this way, so you are about a day's travel from
In the,
the area that you could find several farmers, and you had been told to look up one by the name of Maggot who was setting up his farm, or you can head back to Hobbiton, and that's close to a 3-day journey. So
Okay.
So I guess the question is, and of course you leave it to me to ask the questions, do we want to go talk to Dahlia at the Green Dragon first, or try to establish a base of spore mushroom growing with Maggot first, and then present Dahlia with a fully fleshed out business idea?
No, we canned the business idea, did we not? With including the Green Dragon. I think what we initially wanted to
cutting him off
do
completely.
was get a supply train from the Green Dragon to Mickle Delving.
Of made
But then-
soup?
No, of mushrooms.
Oh.
But then we were
quick
like,
post.
but if we look up this farmer to grow it for us, we don't need to tell Gerda anything other than,
Oh, it's Gerda, that's
sorry.
right.
Well,
here's
Dahlia's the
money."
innkeeper, Gerda's
Yeah.
the mushroom gatherer.
Well, we need to give Gerda the money for stealing the mushrooms. My bad. Sheriff, surprise.
And the letter.
Sheriff Folger's
And
behind the whole thing, and he's funding
there's-
this. This is his money.
He did give us a
Sorry.
letter too to give her.
Yeah, so we're gonna give her all that stuff. Say my bad, no backsies. We understand that, but here's some money to refill your stuff. And then after we smooth things over there, or
If they haven't burned the dragon down yet.
honestly, I would say if the best course of action in Banjo's mind would be to go to Mr. Maggot, talk to him about a potential idea of planting, cultivating, and giving mushrooms to Jarek. That would be a good basis to start off on. If he agrees, sweet. We go to Gerda, be like, hey, talk, smooth things over, and then circle back to Jarek.
Okay.
Be like, results. Boosh.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
That's what I think. And also, to plant the spores and stuff, would we theoretically have anything like that? Or would we
Spores?
have to
We'd
go,
back and get some, I think.
like, yeah, here's the money for stealing the stuff. That night later, we go and steal more spores.
Oh, God. I mean, that could be done, but
I assume that you brought the remaining supply of your mushrooms with you.
yeah.
Of course we did.
You had about half of the total.
That's all I had in
pilfered
my rucksack. I
mushrooms.
didn't carry anything else. It's the mushrooms and my axe.
Yeah, so we'll probably just supply that to Mr. Maggot. Be like, hey, here's Delia. Here's some mushrooms. We have a business offer by Jarek. If you provide him with mushrooms, he will pay you for your services. And Farm Mag will be like, oh yeah, that's awesome. I'm totally gonna do that. And then we'll go to.
I mean, we don't even necessarily need to say anything about
Yeah, just ask him to
Jarek.
grow mushrooms.
Like, here's some mushrooms, and here's a gold. Grow them. Because we have gold now.
But he'll have to get them to Jarek, won't he? Like, he'll
Yeah,
have to
we
know
can-
who he's giving them.
We can just say, we need you to grow these mushrooms, and
Supply the tavern.
we could
in
we could
Nickel
even figure out. I mean, it depends on how in detail we want to get with this.
That's
But
true. We don't really need to tell
we
him
could
anything,
either
really.
have Maggot be responsible for the logistics of said mushrooms, or have a separate logistical crew that will be responsible for carting the mushrooms from Farmer Maggot's place to the Bird and Babe over in Mickledelving, which is a
Or we could do
fair.
that.
It's a fair distance, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Where's Farmer Maggot again? In the
He's up,
Mirish?
like near the outs. He's near Marish.
so that's towards the southeast side.
That's where we came through, isn't it?
No, so you came across the north part of the East Farthing,
Oh, that's right.
and so now you are on, I could show you with the map, but I don't think you would be able to see.
It's all good.
But yeah, so essentially as you come down towards Buckland, it's basically the bottom of the East Farthing.
Yeah, so it's in the southeast
Still
side
nice
of the Shire, and Mickledelving's in the very west side. So it's a pretty far distance. Yeah. It's a long way
Let's
to
just go to
haul.
Gerda let's just go to Gerda first. We're already there.
Well, we're already here on the east side of the Shire. So
Quite
we
the
might as
opposite.
well,
Yeah, exactly.
and we have the spores that we can
Oh,
just
right,
drop
sorry.
off. We can just drop off the spores and
Yeah.
with
I like
Farmer
that
Maggot.
idea. I like that idea. Just be like, hey, grow these. What are these for? Shut up. Throws coins at him.
Basically, I mean, we have
okay.
significant amount of money now. I mean, 4 gold is a lot of money for hobbits.
It's the old
That's
money
like a-
equal be mean to people equilibrium.
Well, it's not even necessarily being mean. It's just like money equals.
No,
we don't
very
have
true.
to necessarily
Yeah.
tell you every detail of why you need to do this. Here's more
Honestly,
than
one
enough
gold
money.
coin would be enough. Yeah, 1 gold coin would be enough.
More
to
than-
pipe him down.
gold.
More than
We'll
enough.
give him all of the gold in the Shire. Be like, this is
Yeah.
all
Right.
the gold in the
But I think that's a good.
So let's go
I
find-
think- yeah, that's a good plan. Is to go south
Let's go find Farmer Maggot.
down to Farmer Maggot and see how that
You
goes.
see, Banjo's growing a good head on his shoulders. He's
I'm gonna
learned a
climb
lot
that
since he
tree.
started traveling with you and me, Barry. Think about it. He used to be a young, dumb kid. Now he's just a
I am
young
still,
kid.
yes, a young dumb kid.
Right. He's learned quite a bit. Very
According
true.
to my
Very true.
character sheet, I'm dumb and stupid. So
Though I will say, if the experience we just had in the cave is any indicator of what we might be in for, if we line up with the likes of Mr. Bilbo or even anyone else outside of the Shire, I'm not so sure I'm interested in this kind of adventure.
You stop that.
You almost
Master Bilbo
died.
did-
You almost
Master Bilbo
died.
didn't send us there. Balin did.
Right, but we had no
all
idea.
all I know about that is if I had my great great granddad's bow that's above our family mantelpiece, of course, instead of my sling, I would have just taken care of that orc immediately. That's what I
It
know.
hit me in
That's
the back
what
of
I
the
know.
bloomin' head, Banjo.
Well, thankfully you were pinned to the wall, so I wouldn't have had to do that so much.
Right.
Right. Thank you for that.
Yeah, don't worry. I am just as scarred. You know what?
No, you're not.
It actually
no, you're not.
affected
Look,
me more.
look at this scar.
He's like, I could put my whole hand through.
Well, if it
like,
wasn't
I'm
for
waving from my back.
if it wasn't for my
Just like
improv rhyming, all of y'all would be dead. I don't know about that.
That's very true. You gotta just cast some cool hip hop spells on the orc and then volley.
Yeah, that's right.
You just said skippity scop
said
when you
it
get
here.
off of my
I
property.
lay down the
Said
hobbit wisdom.
Hobbit.
Truth, that wisdom is better than strength.
In a fist fight, it's not.
Well, with
I
that,
disagree.
with a slightly more metered tone to the hobbit walking as you clean up the campfire and head on to your next destination, with a plan in mind and gems in hand, and
hand.
nightmares swirling about your head. These memories of these phantasms in the night, and
I don't
probably
have
hoping
memories,
that
I have gems.
yeah, probably hoping that you wouldn't revisit them when night falls again. We will close the curtain on today's session, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
And just like I said last time, don't forget to catch us on all your favorite streaming platforms.
That's right. Blunders and Flagons is a creation of David Lennox in partnership with Daniel and Drew Lennox and Jerry Hoppmann. Content for this adventure is compiled from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings universe. The system and certain names and details of this adventure were adapted from the Free League's work, the Lord of the Rings Roleplaying and Shire Adventures starter set for 5e. Sounds in this episode were sourced in part from freesound.org under the Creative Commons and Attribution license. Atmosphere and other sounds were derived from Monument Studios' Fantasy Music and Cinematic Atmosphere collections under the Creative Commons license. Other music was created using Suno Premium. Detailed attribution found in the description.